Hi, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium, and I have an entire posse of spirit guides that help me predict or talk about the energy, the prevalent, the probable energy in the political world. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. Let's get started. If you know me, I like to get right down to business. And listen, you know what has been going down? Not only is the House of Representatives in the United States a complete three-ring circus full of toddlers taking over the romper room. We've got that going on. We've got George Santos, whom, just as the spirit guide said, his fellow Republicans would ask him to step down. They have. He is not going to. He says no. He declines. He's not going to do that. Now, that be it as it may, of course, that is just a mess, but it doesn't really matter. Okay, so this is going to be an interesting video because, frankly, if you're new here, I channel this video about 60% is my spirit guides, 40% is me. And of course, when I'm living my life, it's 100% me. So I am pretty upset about this thing with Biden, with them finding secret documents in his storage room, and now another batch of secret documents have been found. It really made me so upset, honestly, at everybody, at Biden, at everything, that I did a video on Monday. This is now Thursday, and I did a video on Monday and I didn't post it because even though I think about the last half of it was really good and important, the first half I was having a real hard problem trying to nail down what exactly happened with these documents. Now, listen, it does look fishy, does it not? That right about the time that we get this crazy speaker of the crazy Republican circus house, that all of a sudden some documents are found in a locked closet in a think tank that President Biden used in between his time as being vice president and running for president. The timing is suspicious. I will agree with you. Here's the part where I disagree with my guides. If you're new here, I disagree with them. I really do. And frankly, it doesn't serve me well in my personal life. I got to be honest with you. If I would just listen to them more and stop fighting, I'd be further along in my life. But here we are, folks. Here we are. The spirit guides say it's a nothing burger. It's okay. Okay, I take that back. It's not a nothing burger. It is something. It happened. This is a real thing, and this is a real problem for the Biden administration, especially for the optics, right? How does it look? It looks bad. And it puts Democrats in a precarious position of having to not be able to really throw the hammer down on the other guy because our guy did it too. It's like, golly, can we not just get a clear, clean conviction? We've been waiting for 2 years, right? We need justice. We just need to close out this chapter and move on. I'm sure you agree with me, right? That's not going to happen so quickly. Let me tell you what they're saying. So yes, it's a problem. It's an issue. Was there some sort of hinky-pinky or some kind of maybe planting of some documents or some shenanigans, or as Biden himself would say, malarkey? Yes, there was some malarkey. There was malarkey. However, this is where the spirit guides are saying, Susan, sit down, calm down, wait, put on your amethyst ring, which you've been wearing for 2 weeks because you need to calm down. Okay, now we're all going to be calm and we're going to realize that here's the real deal. You want me to tell you what the real news is? Let me tell you what's really going down right now. Right now, Fani Willis. You may or may not know her, but you're about to. She is the Georgia DA, and she is brutal. This woman is brutal. This woman is about law and order. Let me tell you, she is investigating Donald Trump right now and his famous phone call to Raffensperger and everybody else. I mean, we have Lindsey Graham. We have a lot of people that are involved in Trump's, hey, just find me X number of votes and we'll all be okay, right? His famous phone call that was recorded. Well, here's the deal. I need to just tell you one thing. If you're new here, the spirit guides said two things that you would be well, whatever to know. It would serve you well to know. First of all, the guides said 6 months ago, there would be 100 archers, 100 people with bows and arrows. They would shoot these bows and arrows. They would let go of their arrows. 95 of those 100 arrows would miss their target. Their target is Trump. 95 arrows miss. Well, that pretty much feels about right now, doesn't it? 4 arrows hit their mark. Now, the second thing you need to know is that the guides have been saying ad nauseum, if you ask me, because I'm ready for something to be done, to be finished, to get this done with. But anyway, calm down again. The guides have been saying there's going to be 3 people that are going to take down Trump. 3 women. We have Fani Willis. We have E. Jean Carroll, who's the woman that he allegedly raped in a very high-end department store many decades ago. But because of a new law that the New York State passed, anybody that had a sexual crime against them has 1 year to come back and retry that crime. Guess what? Statute of limitations have been extended, and now E. Jean Carroll is suing Donald Trump. E. Jean Carroll, number 2. Who's number 3? Tish James, New York. 3 women. What I see over and over again is these 3 women facing Donald Trump. They are so strong and courageous. Courageous, right? No one wants to take Donald Trump down, it appears. Here are these 3 women. Now, the first woman, Fani Willis. You guys, I have to tell you about her. I knew she was going to be a formidable opponent. I knew she was going to be tough on Donald Trump. I knew she wasn't going to take no for an answer. She wasn't going to side with any special interest. I knew all those things. What I didn't know was that this woman, and I don't think this is an over-exaggeration at all, would put her own grandmother in jail if her grandmother broke a law. Fani Willis is new in her office, and want to know why? Because she went against her own boss, and basically framed him. Now, not framed him as in, put him in jail, but she framed the optics. She accused him of being a fraud, of doing fraudulent things. Her own boss. This woman went against the own DA and won in the election. That's a big deal, right? Now, secondly, as soon as she got into office, it was discovered that teachers in Atlanta were changing the scores of the students so that the school would keep getting funding, so that the school would continue getting support. Because you know how they have these new rules now. If the schools fall below a certain level of grades or whatever it is, that STAR test or whatever it is they have in Georgia, then they can lose funding. These teachers work together in a concerted effort to change the grades of students, and these teachers were Black. And Fani Willis went after them and put them in prison. She put them in prison, folks, teachers. Now, this has divided Atlanta because some people say, hey, come on, where's the justice here? They shouldn't have gotten such long terms. But Fani Willis used sort of like a RICO racketeering sort of premise and said, no, they were all involved together. This is the crime. This is the punishment. This is the woman who's staring down Donald Trump right now. I'm not kidding you when I say she would put her own grandmother in jail if her grandmother committed a crime. She's not going to let Donald Trump off, period. She just finished her grand jury, which is secret. And those grand juries are intended to see if there's enough evidence to then charge someone and then go to a grand jury who would then actually make the decision. So it's a trial kind of thing, just to see if there's enough evidence there, right? Do we want to waste our time? This grand jury's been impaneled for months and months. It's a really big deal. So that grand jury finished, I believe, the 27th, in about 2 weeks, or the 24th. In about 2 weeks, they're going to decide whether or not the findings of that grand jury are going to be made public. However, at any time, you might say at her leisure, Fani Willis can decide to take the findings of that grand jury and make a decision to charge Donald Trump or any number of those people whom she's been investigating, whom we don't really know who they all are because this was a secret process. Fani Willis, you don't want to be on the other side of a Fani Willis investigation because she brings it. She doesn't leave a loophole. There's no loophole. There's no nothing. This man is dead to rights. Okay. That's the first person, E. Jean Carroll. Well, she's just trucking along. She's got civil lawsuits. She's got criminal lawsuits. Trump actually said some terrible things about her that she could not do anything about because he was president. And because he's so stupid, he said them again once he became an ex-president. And now she can sue him civilly. So she is really going after him. And I do think there's a lot of energy around the criminal aspect of the alleged rape. And let me tell you why. She kept the dress. All these decades, she kept the dress that she was wearing when he allegedly attacked her and raped her. She has his DNA, folks. She has the man's DNA. Now, of course, the court has asked him to provide his own DNA, and he wouldn't. But they managed to get DNA from, drum roll, his niece, Mary Trump, his niece that hates him, his niece that got cut out of the inheritance, right? Oh boy, let me tell you, are we talking about some Shakespearean things going on now? Because we really are. So I really feel like E. Jean Carroll, she's got him dead to rights. Now, the third person is Tish James. Tish James has already put Weisselberg. They've already gone after his accountant. They've gone after the Trump org, the Trump businesses. She's basically making notches in her prosecutor's belt, right and left, right? So she is going after him as well. 3 women, you guys. Now, let me talk about Garland. And thank God, who's talking to you are the spirit guides, because I don't know how I feel right now about him. So I will say to you, this is a vision I've talked about in other videos. You can see this in other videos. I see Fani Willis. I see E. Jean Carroll. I see Tish James all lined up facing Donald Trump. I see the back of their heads. I see Donald Trump. He's facing them. I mean, that's pretty good. That's good enough in my book. I don't really care who takes him down, as long as he gets taken down, as long as there's some justice somewhere. Now, when I say I don't care, I'm under the influence of spirit guides. And I would say, yes, I do care, because I think Garland should take him down. I think he should go down for Jan 6. However, he's got to go down for something. Now, here's the interesting thing. The interesting thing is the next vision that I see is Garland himself reaching over the ladies and grabbing Trump by his collar, his front of his shirt, actually like this, and whoosh, picking him up, hauling him over the heads of the 3 ladies and say, sorry, ladies, he's mine first. The federal charges trump state charges. No pun intended. And so there it is, guys. I've been seeing this picture. It hasn't been happening, but I'm going to tell you that the energy is on turbocharge right now. And we are sort of, the word they're using is hurtling, like hurtling through space or hurtling through the timeline. Everything is picked up. So when I ask if, because let me tell you, Garland, of course, has Jack Smith, and Jack Smith, God bless him. Thank God for Jack Smith. Jack Smith is a lot like Fani Willis. He doesn't care. If you broke the law, you're going down. He doesn't care who you are. He really doesn't. And I think he's actually a little even less aggressive than Fani Willis. That should probably scare us all, but that's what I feel. So Jack Smith is doing his investigations. He has subpoenaed, it just came out in the Washington Post. I mean, apparently in December, it rained subpoenas. He's asking for everything. And it really looks like he's also looking at RICO, racketeering charges, which is it's an easier thing to prove in some ways. It has very specific things that you have to meet. There's no doubt about it. Once you tick off these things, it's done. It's a done deal. It's a very clearly written law. It's easy to prosecute if you meet all of the criteria. So this is what it looks like. Now, I will also say I have a video back in 2020, I think. The actual heading of the video is RICO is his name-o instead of bingo. I don't know, you guys. This RICO energy has been around for a long time. RICO is going to bring this guy down because, frankly, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only, this guy is a mob boss. He is a racketeer. It makes perfect sense. So here we are. We have Jack Smith doing the work. Well, of course, Garland and Jan 6 committee did the work. Jack Smith comes in and says, okay, let me make sense of all of this evidence, all of this data. What charges can I bring forth based on the work from Jan 6 committee and the work from Garland's prosecutors? Now, what Jack Smith does really well is he brings a lot of very disparate pieces of information together to one solid case. And that is what's happening right now. I feel like Jack Smith is going to be presenting something to Garland in March, early March, I think. And what is supposed to happen is Jack Smith is supposed to present to Garland a report that says, here are my findings. This is the way the special prosecutor rules or job description, if you will, was written up. So Jack Smith does the work, hands it to Garland. It's up to Garland to make a decision about whether that evidence, that case that Jack Smith is so resolutely putting together is worthy of going to court, worthy of going before a jury. Can we win? So it really all comes back to Garland once again. Now, I have my doubts about Garland. And honestly, I did a video with this astrologer, Adam Free, and he looked into Garland's energy. And I'm telling you guys, if you just watch that part about Garland's energy, to me, everything makes sense. Actually, I think the name of the video is Everything Makes Sense. It just describes Garland, his problem. Why is he dragging his feet? Is he dragging his feet? What is going on? Why isn't he being more aggressive? It's really written in his stars. It's written in his own astrology, where his planets are right now, what he's dealing with as far as the influences of his own transits, right? But to cut to the chase, Fani Willis, and specifically Fani Willis, but Tish James put pressure on the DOJ to do something. Biden is not going to sit back and let a state charge an ex-president when the ex-president tried to overthrow the entire United States. So you're going to see this pressure inch up that Fani Willis is going to do. And she very well may even announce charges or begin the process of indicting him and bringing him in, and then the process of seating a jury. That's the pressure that I see that then forces Garland to reach over them and grab Trump and do something with him. Okay. So when you look at it like this, for whatever reason, the energies that are happening right now are so fast and so furious that the documents, the secret documents, top secret documents, whatever they are, that were found in Biden's cabinet, it just kind of like becomes nothing, because the energy of the indictments is starting to roll in, and it's like the energy rushes by and leaves these documents of Biden's behind. It's like they become not a big deal. Like the news energy rushes past them and leaves them where they are. So, I mean, I think that's a really good thing, because I think in the optics part of it, we really gave Trumpers, MAGA people, a big prize that they can now use to beat us over the head with. And we don't need that. We don't need anything to distract from what Donald Trump did and is doing, right? But it seems like the energy just runs away. It's a nothing. I think that's why they told me that it's really nothing. It is something, but it will be nothing. Now, again, if you're keeping score, like I am, you're going to say, but what about if it was planted? Who were those people and how did it get planted? And obviously, there's some kind of internal sabotage going on here. And yes, that is all true. And as I go into the energy, what I see Biden doing is an internal clearing of house. I mean, an internal, I don't know how to describe what I'm seeing. He's basically scouring. The word is scouring. It's a very intensive action. It's almost like he's cleansing by fire his internal staff. Now, if you may or may not know this, but CNN broke this story. Now, CNN has gone to the dark side, in my opinion. And when I read one of the articles from CNN, the source that they had that tipped them off to this said that the attorney was going through the boxes at the storage unit, which was locked, and the boxes were all, like some stuff related to Beau, his son, and different things. It was personal. And then he saw an envelope marked personal, and he opened it up. Now, what attorney is going to, first of all, what attorney is going to go do this work? And second of all, what attorney is going to open an envelope marked personal and look through it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense. This was clearly some sort of sabotage, and Biden, being a Scorpio, he wants to keep this on the down low. He wants to really dive deep into this and he wants to keep it out of the public eye. And I can see him telling some people, you're going to leave my, inner circle in exactly 45 days, so as not to make a connection time-wise to this event. But in that 45 days, you're going to be I'm going to put you over here, or you're not going to have access to anything. I mean, basically, I'm firing you, but I'm not announcing that you're going to be fired until 45 days from now. And if you go to the press, this is what's going to happen to you. And it's not going to be pretty. Don't try me. If you break Biden's trust, you're in big, big trouble. He will go to the depths of whatever he has to go to put you on ice, to freeze you out. So what I see is these people are being removed from his service, whether it was an attorney, whether it was an aide, whoever it really was, he will find them. Trust me. He will freeze them out. Now, I do see that person. There might be two. I do see them at a later date, maybe about 6 to 8 months from now, trying to sell the story. Trying to make a buck, trying to sell the story. Because honestly, right, they're bought by somebody else. Who paid them? Why did they do this? So they can sell the story and they can make a little money, but we all know the reason they want the story out there is because they want it to be public and they want to control the narrative. So they're going to sell the story, not of who paid me to do this. That's suicide. Nobody's going to do that. They're going to sell the story of how it really went down, right? And how I really got canned because Biden was caught. It's just more, BS for the BS press channels. So I do see these people coming out and trying. Again, they don't have any traction except for with, the Q nuts. This kind of stuff is where is literally food for the conspiracy theories, right? And they'll just go underground and continue to feed this same story over and over again to those people to keep them, attached, emotionally attached to the cult, right? To the cult of personality. So, and you're probably asking, well, who paid for this? Well, who do you think? Who do you think paid for this? Who would benefit from, making the president look terrible and hopefully equivalating the ex-president, right? And who is control of the ex-president? I can't always just call these countries out because they're on to me and they're starting to wreak havoc in my comments. I'm getting bots, spam and bots, as you know, and I'm sorry that I get those, and please report them. Just click the 3 dots next to, if you ever see a spam on anything, none of us are going to have WhatsApp. None of us, not Linda G, not me, not any of us are going to have WhatsApp. If you see that, click the 3 dots and report it. Okay. So that's what's happening. That's why I'm getting all these spammers, is because this is starting to get the attention of people that, pay attention to this stuff. So I don't really want that. So I'm going to let you figure that part out. So listen, is there anything else I need to tell you? Well, yeah, buckle up, hold on. They're saying it. If you can imagine the energy being so strong that something so big, like secret documents are found in the current president's locked cabinet, but yet that information is left behind because bigger news keeps coming to the front, then you can imagine how big the news is that's coming. Fani Willis is not going to back down, you guys. She is they call her a pit bull. And I don't know who is maligned more there. I'm not sure. But she's not going to back down, you guys. This woman is law and order at no cost. There's no capitulation here. There's no gray. It's black and white. Now, I don't always agree with those types of people. I think those types of people are a little too black and white. But in this case, she's the person we need for Trump. She's the person we need to bring him down, and perhaps Raffensperger or even Kemp or Lindsey Graham or any number of people, to be honest with you. And that's actually something I remember now that they were talking about. Her critics, of which, you can imagine every powerful white man and woman in Georgia and a lot of them in America are really worried about her and think that she's overreaching her role as a state attorney general, right? This could lead to Ginny Thomas. So you can see a lot of pushback on her saying, you're overstepping your bounds, Missy. And that's a thing that they would say, isn't it? Get back in your lane. You don't realize who you are. You need to stay small because we're bigger than you. That kind of BS that we've heard, that especially people of color have heard their whole lives, right? She doesn't care. She doesn't care. She is single-mindedly, she's like basically a missile that's got radar lock on their target. nothing is going to dissuade her. Nothing's going to distract her. She knows what she needs to do. I think perhaps she was born to do this. Maybe this is her soul journey right here, is to take down a former president of the United States. And who better than a Black woman? So listen, I know this was kind of like high energy. I apologize for that. It's the only way that I can deal with this. And this is 4 days later. Imagine what it would have been like on Monday. This stuff is all coming. It's all coming to a head. Now, will I be happy if he gets indicted? Yes. Will I shoot off my cannon? Maybe. He's going down. He's going down because he has to go down, because we have to move forward, because the earth is ascending. Just like in Brazil, Bolsonaro, the president of Brazil, is in Florida. And basically what happened in Brazil was just like Jan 6. I mean, it basically looked just like Jan 6, didn't it? It looked like somebody handed them a playbook and said, this is how you do it. But that president, Lula, he overcame that. He smacked it down, and he's arrested thousands of people, and he's going to arrest police officers who were involved in supporting the ex-president in the coup. So this energy is changing. This is evidence that the energy is changing, that justice is coming to the forefront, is being done. Justice is being done. So I'll leave you with what they told me about Fani Willis. They said coup de grace, coup de grace, coup de grace, coup de grace, the final blow, the final death blow. That's what they talk about when they talk about Fani Willis. Listen, take really good care of yourself. Don't ingest so much of this terrible, negative, yucky energy. The House can say whatever they want. The Republicans can put whatever crazy thing they want. They've put a lot of crazy things forward about abortion. It's going to get a lot of news headlines. It's going to make people upset. It's not going anywhere. We have the Senate, folks. We have the executive branch. We have the presidency. So they can just spin their wheels and throw up every kind of crazy thing they want. And it's going to get news headlines, and it's going to make everybody's blood pressure go up. Don't fall for it. We are so lucky that we have the Senate. We are so lucky. We're so lucky we have the presidency. That's why we have these three branches, right? So they're going to spin their wheels, and then they're going to spin out, and a lot of those people are going to be gone. And then we're going to pick up the pieces and put them back together in a new way that is really and hopefully more equal and more judicial and more peaceful. Okay? Take really good care of yourself. We'll talk again soon, right here on this channel. For entertainment purposes only.